what I was designing. Like, what was I going to design?
Okay.
Who was I designing for?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I see. All right. All right, so let me start sharing my screen so you can see what is happening. Edna, how are you? Were you able to figure out the thing with your app? Sorry, I didn't reply you. I was very overwhelmed. Edna, are you there? Okay, I don't think she's here. Oh, Edna, you're here now, but I can't hear you. Okay, whenever you're ready. All right, so can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Good. All right. Now, this is a very supposedly basic design, okay? But what we need to do to this design is a lot of things. Number one, this basically looks like putting text on a rectangle, right? First thing that is wrong is the rectangle is not even, the text is not aligned, even though the rectangle is aligned. Do you remember that thing I told you about how the box can be aligned, but the text inside might not be aligned? So you need to remove every possible space in the box to ensure that when you align the box, the text will also align. So this is what this person needs to do first of all. That's one of the first things. You see this space? This space here. That's our problem. So once you cover that space, now when you drop this and you centralize it, exactly, now it has been centralized. Okay, that's step one. Step two, these things are too close to the edge. It's like it's not supposed to be this close to the edge. Okay, so allow space in your design. When there's no space, it feels choked up and you cannot even, there's no way your eyes can be directed through the design. All right, so ensure that you have space around your design. Okay, so what's the first thing to do? Reduce the size of this thing. All right, and you can see, like I've always said, Canva intuitively gives you a really, really nice, edge to keep your text within. All right, it can be lesser, it can be smaller actually, but try your best possible to make sure it doesn't come out. Is someone asking a question? No. All right, so this is number one. Now, another thing we want to do is for a quote, many times, personally, like I said, now this is a personal decision, all right? This can work fine, but personally, I would like to reduce it a little more because it's a quote. Okay, that's number one. Number two, now because we don't even have a context for this design, okay? First of all, this is not bad. It can work like this, right? But many times in quote, you want to emphasize something, okay? You want to emphasize something. So let's find something here that can be emphasized. Don't let the noise of other opinions drown out your inner voice. All right, so let's say that's what we want to emphasize. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on it, make it bold. All right, so now you can see that many things have changed. And it's because of the way this person arranged this design. All right, so what you need to do now is remove all those spaces by doing all these things, right? Okay, now when you do this, it's going to just adjust automatically. Okay, so now I need to centralize it. Can you see it's right in the center? Okay, another thing I might want to do is for this, I can change the color. Okay, now the background that we're using is not dark enough to give us a very good contrast. So I want to make it darker so I can have a better contrast. All right, so I'm just going to, oh, it's a gradient, interesting, right? So I'm going to change. Oh, so there are two shapes here actually. There's a background and then there's another shape. All right, so I've removed that one already. Okay, so now this is what we have. All right, now I want to change this color. So what I can do now, just to create some form of emphasis and contrast, all right? I'll give this another line, right? And then this another line. So what I'll do is I'll delete this. Okay, I've cut it out. Control X. I didn't delete. Control X. I cut it out. Now I've pasted it on my screen. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to increase it and make it a 2-liner. Right now, this 2-liner is going to obviously be bolder than. Can you see how I'm ensuring that every single time my elements are centralized? Okay, and I'm making use of this pink grid line that shows up whenever I'm moving objects. All right, so I'm going to change the font to, I can change the font, right, to something else entirely to increase the contrast actually, right? So I'm just going to do that to increase the space, make sure it's centralized, drag this, make sure it's also centralized. Okay, now I'm going to, I want to bring this out so that secondary will not be the last thing there, so that secondary can be part of, okay? So this is what I wanted to achieve. I didn't want secondary to stand on its own, right? Because I just wanted everything to look sharp. So there you go, right? So I'm going to change this to, okay, so it was PT Serif, all right? I'm going to change this to satisfy. Let me see what satisfy looks like. All right. So typically, because this is a sans font and this is a script font, both of them have too much character, so they might conflict. All right. So it's easier for me to change this, okay, to a nice sans font. All right. So I'll just go to sans serif. I'll make sure I'm using a, so I've clicked DM sans. Okay. Now secondary is coming out again, so I don't want that. That's called an orphan when you see something like that. I'm going to teach, I'm supposed to teach design terms today, so I'll teach that on during the week, right, when everyone's here. So, okay. I'll reduce the line spacing. All right, and I can change the color to something bright. Okay. And then reduce this. Okay, no, I'll give it a space back. All right, so now let me make this longer. Okay, so I'll just keep it like this. Okay. Don't let the noise of other opinion, blah, 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 blah. Right now, funny enough, this might work. This can work. Like this is a decent design, it's centralized. I can see the contrast, you know, all those things are fine. Those are the basics, and you must ensure that you get them right before you try to do any other extra pieces. Okay. Now it's centrally aligned. I have good contrast. I have an emphasis on those two lines. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Okay. I want to change the font to something that is more visible because I think this font is a little really all over the place. Okay. So I'll type handwriting. Find the nice handwriting font that is free and clear. CC million. Nice was not that clear. Bright sunshine. Still too fancy. Mistrally. Well, yeah, I think this works. It's a little fancy, but it's readable. Yeah, and yeah, so I can use this. Okay. So yeah, we're done with this, right? What I can do, what else, another thing I can do just to make this more, you know, to create more emphasis is just add something under, like a brush or some elements that shows direction. So there are different ways you can go about it, okay? So let's just say arrow, right? So imagine I select this, okay, I reduce the size. All right. I'm trying to move people's eyes in the direction to see that quote. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to create direction to that two liner in different ways, right? So I can do this. Now there are different ways I can do it. I can either do this, duplicate it, flip it, no, horizontally, sorry. Okay, let me do that again. Horizontal is up to down, right? So a door is horizontal. A garage, no, horizontal means horizon. Let me use this to help you understand it, horizontal and vertical. If you ever seen a sea, right, when they say on top of the horizon of the sea, that's the horizontal. So horizontal is landscape, like flat. Vertical is up, down, okay? So use that when you want to. So I flipped it. So I can do this right now. If you are looking closely at the screen, you can see 3 grid lines that are showing as I'm moving this thing. It's helping me ensure that my new arrow is on the same level with the previous one. Okay. Now that's another way Canva helps you to ensure that you retain your alignment. Alignment is very important, very, very important. All right. So, but this is another way you can do it. You can just have both of them, right? And then does it feel normal? Okay. So, yeah, something is wrong with the shape. So let me flip it again, flip it horizontally. Oh, okay, because it's not straight. That's the problem, right? So I'm just going to duplicate this, right? Flip it horizontally and use my eyes to direct this. Okay, so now I'm using, you can see the grid line is directing me. Right? So this is one way you can use, just direct 2 lines to point to that place. Or you can actually even flip this horizontally, vertically, sorry, to go from up to down, right? So it feels like you're pointing people's eyes in 2 different directions. Okay, you can do that, or you can actually just if you don't want to use the arrows, you can create emphasis on that place by adding like maybe a brush, right? Something like this. Okay, just under, right? Maybe make this black. Okay, create an opacity.
Please, how did you bring it out? Like when you kept the brush on top now,
Okay,
what button did you use to put it out on top?
let me go step by step again. All right. I clicked on, okay, so that's a pro brush. Let me search for something free, right? So this, right? I'll click on this. Okay. Now I clicked on here to drag. Remember I showed you how you can drag. If you want to drag on all sides, you press Option on Mac and Alt on Windows. Okay. So I'm dragging it with my mouse. Can you see that? Now I've
Okay, I
dragged
can
it
see
out.
that.
Yeah, so I've dragged it out. I want to change the color now to black. After changing the color, I want to reduce the opacity to 50%. And then, now we see that it's over the text. So I'm just going to change the position to backwards. Now it's behind. Okay. So this is another thing. Another way you can create emphasis on that particular line. Now I just want to create space because those ones are too close to the edge. Okay. So another thing that you might just also want to do to make it more interesting, you can, instead of using a plain background, you can play around with the background. Okay, and how do you want to do that? There are many ways to do that. You can add a texture. Okay, I want to add a grunge texture, grunge. It's called grunge, right? A grunge texture is where you have all these things that look like graffiti and stuff. Okay, so imagine I use this. All right. Now I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use this color just the way it is. I'm going to add some transparency to give it, to make it look, to give it an effect. But this time I'm taking it to the back. Okay. So obviously this is more distracting, right? So it's even making it difficult to read the text. So I might as well just remove it, because remember, people's ability to read the text is more important than adding whatever stylish thing you want to add. Okay, so here there's this square thing that I can add, since this is a square post, right? But it's also too dramatic, so I'm just going to take it out. On the contrary, you can actually make that yourself, right? So rotate this, drag this up to down, right? Now, but it's too close, okay? So we need something that is more straightforward, like a line, yeah? Now, there's something else I was going to explain. Before you actually start to design, what you say?
Not to worry. I was going to say, if we can't get something straight, then maybe we could go to lines.
Yeah, exactly. We could go to lines. But I haven't found this. Okay, so there was something else I wanted to explain, right? You always get lost if you don't know exactly what you are trying to do before you start. Okay, so in some of the classes this week, I'll take you through the process from beginning to end, all right, of designing a complete brand. How do we start? What are the questions to ask? How do we go about it? What are the things to look out for? You know, those kind of things. Very, very important, right? So now we are just winging it because, you know, there was no goal in mind, all right? And I'm just trying to make corrections based on what I have. But typically, you should have a good idea of what you want to do before you start, okay? So let me use line, since I want to add a line, all right? I don't want to use a straight line, so I can rotate it, all right? When it starts to get too much, you already know. Okay, duplicate. Duplicate and rotate to 90 degrees. All right, so there we go. It looks like a rectangle on its own. Okay, so although this is making it look too busy, so let me see if we change the color to something not too dark, maybe like the same black, and reduce the opacity to 50 again.
White.
Come again.
White color.
Come again. What did you say?
I said maybe white color.
Okay, so the reason why I didn't want to use a bright color, I didn't want to use a
I said maybe white color.
Yeah, so I was going to explain why I wasn't going to use a bright color. If we use a bright color, right, because our text is white, the focus text is yellow, right? If we have this thing around it that is very bright, it's going to be very distracting, to distract people away from the text itself. All right, so imagine this, right? But imagine it with white, all right, and no opacity. Okay, now like this is easier to focus on the text with this design because the whole background is calmer compared to this. It feels like there are too many things going all around. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So that's the reason why. Or better still, we can even do without this thing. Right? We can do without this and it'll be very fine. Okay, so that's for whoever this is. Well done. Let me go up to the next one. Okay, love what you did. This was good. The only problem is that it wasn't centralized. It should be right in the center. Okay, apart from that, that's it. Aha, nice designs. Now, whoever's designed this is, if you like, you can indicate yourself if you don't want to. Okay. So remember I made mention of some particular things, and those particular things were your header, your subheader, and your body text. Okay. Here, I can see that love food is the header in the sense that it's the most conspicuous piece of text. Okay. Love food are always the best type of people. I don't understand the text, but I'm just going to work with the design. All right. Now, this is a pretty decent design. Decent in the sense that when you see this design, you have no confusion that it's about food. You can see the very, very bold major text very clearly. You can see the website under, and it's communicating as clearly as it can, right? Now, the only things that will be worth making mention of will be, say, cheese burger, and this should not be competing. They should not have the same size. Okay, so either this should be smaller or this should be smaller. Okay, because you want to have 3 different hierarchies for the text so that you direct people's eyes. All right, so let's assume that maybe just let me try to make one change. Okay, now this is going to give this, if you, the merely changing from this to this, right, already gives your design a sense of direction. It feels like the edge is, it feels like the text were arranged according to the edge of this thing, just the way this is. Yeah, so it has that effect when you do that. So we can just bring this up. Love food, very nice. So you can reduce this text. I don't understand the text behind it, so I'm just trying to work with what it's supposed to look like. Okay, and then probably here will be the logo of the company and stuff, right? But this is pretty decent and very, 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 very decent actually. I like it. Whether this is working. Iyashola burger. Nice, really good attempt actually, really good attempt. Iyashola burger, say cheeseburger. All right, now there's, I like the idea. It's very simple, right? Did someone say something? Okay, I like the idea. It's very simple. Now, the only things that I want to make as comments would be, number one, you see that it's very, you can see the divide between this black and this black, right? So one of the first problems is the background is not the same color with this background, so it's not blending as well as it should. All right. So you see photo colors here. Canva has helped you to bring out this color, right? Even though it still is not going to blend perfectly because it feels like it's a gradient. One of the things that you can do is to actually just enlarge this thing, right? Maybe not enlarge that sense, but enlarge from here such that it flows seamlessly. Someone's mic is on. Can you mute your mic, please? It flows seamlessly, okay? So now we can just bring this down, all right? And then we have what we have, okay? So then it means that because now I want the space, I want it to have some sense of harmony and just equidistant spacing, right? So we can see that this space is now much bigger than the space here. So we just bring this upwards a little, right? To ensure that there's a justifiable amount of space between this text and the next color, and then between this and, you understand? So now the next thing is the appropriateness of the text, okay? Because it's food related, right? This burger would most likely work better as a more relaxed type of sans serif, or something that is much bolder, right? So For example, all right, let me just duplicate this and explain. For example, this is DM sans, yeah? If we check for another sans serif, we might find something. And because I want this to be bolder, right? I want this to be bolder because Iyashola, exactly. So this is much better, right? Compared to what we had before. Because Iyashola is already very fanciful, and then the one below seems to be clean actually, but not sturdy enough, right? So it's going to give it some kind of foundational balance to make it look fanciful and sturdy at the same time. Okay, so yeah, this is a nice adjustment that just makes this look more solid. All right, say cheeseburger. The space between the text here. So spacing between text can be nice. It just shouldn't be used every single time. Okay. What I mean is, for this, in this context, right, it would have been nicer if say cheeseburger didn't have the spacing. All right, so regular 0, okay, and probably something more fanciful. Well, not fanciful, but more playful. Okay, so let's find something that might work. Let me check handwriting. Handwriting. Okay. Nobody would think you. So trying to find a nice handwritten font. Say cheeseburger. Okay, so this actually works. This font. Now, there's something I told you earlier that you might not have gotten a hang of yet. And when I remember putting it on my slide, it's don't reinvent the wheel. You can just innovate on it or copy it exactly because it's going to perform the exact same purpose. All right. What that means is many times what you're looking for, somebody has done it. You just need to copy it with some nice adjustments. Okay. So so yeah, this, and then so this actually works, right? And just to stay true to the style that you have created. So this is just a nice adjustment. Okay. There are many other things I could have done that would make it look nicer, but on a basic level, this works. This is actually good enough. Okay, so whoever this is, well done again, right? Aha, this is really nice. This is, I think I know what this is, but this is really nice. I'm coming. Okay, so the brand is called Neot Events, served with a difference, right? This is actually just really good, like really good. If I'm making any correction, this should just be wasabi, but this is good, right? The only thing that I might just want to remove is this line, right? Because it just, oh, sorry, I mistakenly opened this tab again. It just distracts, it distracts us from this, right? So if you can just remove this, this will be perfect, right? I love this design. I actually don't have any corrections to make. The logo is perfect. The arrangement is perfect. Look at the alignment, very, very clean alignment, centralized very, very nicely. The color, very good. I like this, very, very nice. Whoever this is, you have done very well. You can graduate now. Right. So same person did this, right? So same suggestion, take this off, right? Now, I'm going to start to explain how you can work with different sizes, okay? Same design, different size, right? Now, first thing you want to do is reduce this to make sure that you kind of have a really good spacing around it. So you have white space here, white space here. All right. Okay. Now, next is you bring this here. So it's kind of like in the middle. Okay. Next is this line is going to be much longer. Okay. And your text will probably be much bigger. All right. So increase the line spacing just a bit because you want it to feel, you want it to just like have a nice justification around the whole page. Okay, so increase the line spacing, not letter spacing. Line spacing. All right. Cool. Because I usually like to have the same line for everything. Okay. All right, so 16 unity percent, blah, 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 blah. Right, so now I'm going to increase the line spacing, okay, for everything. Okay, now this, I'm going to centralize this into this. Now, when you're centralizing, don't forget that you can centralize to page and you can also centralize with reference to an element. So right now, I'm trying to centralize this box in reference to, I'm trying to centralize this in reference to this. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here. As I drag this over this, you see that grid line showing. It means it's now directly at the center. Okay. Now you can see that these texts are too close to the edge. All right. So what do we want to do? Probably bring this down another line. Okay. Because obviously we still have a lot of space up and down, so you might as well use it. Okay. And then maybe separate the phone number from the major details, because it's like a different type of information entirely. All right, so we have this, we have this, we have this. So this is a very nice minor adjustment to what we have here. But apart from that, this design actually looks very nice, whether this is, right? Okay. Okay, so this is square version. Yeah, same thing, just you can take this out. Maybe just increase this just a little. So group this and then centralize it to this particular box and center. And there we have it. This is perfect. However, this is very well done. Now you can just adjust this a little or bring this to the, so that you have good space between this logo here and the next kind of image here. And same thing on this side. Okay. But apart from that, this is perfect. And then centralize, align. I'm sure this person actually tried to align it, which is really good. So well done, whoever this is. Another thing you can do just to make some differences, make one bold and make the other light, right? So it's just going to create a nice contrast, okay? But I mean, it will work either ways, but just something that you can do. So well done, well done, well done, whoever this is. This or that Ankara lace, which is your fave. This is a very nice design. The only challenge right now is that the background is so busy, it's difficult to actually read the text. Okay, number one, I wish I could have did this, so I could have made actual changes to it, but I can't. Okay, so I like that this is centralized, right, really nicely. But these elements don't seem to have really proper alignment or placement. For example, if you look at this Ankara, you can see that this Ankara is already, it's flushing with the background with the edge already, and then Ankara is already here on this side, while this is right here. Now, another thing you also want to notice is the way this is already too close to the edge. Now, this or that, because of the way these elements have been placed, right? It would be nice if this or that was on the same line, all right? And then also for the background, it would have been better if the background was not as distracting as this. So what you can do in a situation like this is create an overlay over this color, reduce the opacity so that you still have some form of texture, but the main background is much darker. Last thing is this pictures inside this shape. Okay, so I'm assuming that you probably wanted to use a frame. A frame would have been perfect. So a frame would have been perfect, right? But what you can do now is, for this, it would have been better to use a frame, right? Instead of putting a rectangle on top of another shape, you know, it makes it look tacky, right? But this is a good attempt, actually. I'm sure that this will do better. Well done. All right. Another nice design. Okay, so I like this element, right? This is a very interesting element. Okay, and it's nice. My first challenge is the alignment on this end. Okay, so how do we solve that? Number one, make sure that your texts are on the same alignment space. Another thing you also want to do is ensure that your icons are also on the same alignment with your text. Okay, so now we can drag this to their sides. All right, up. Okay, so we have this. All right, now we can group them together. It's too close to the edge. Okay, so just bring it up a little. All right, now you can see that it's blending into this place. So what do you want to do? Adjust your color. Okay, or better still, remove this, right? Okay, so I'm not supposed to just like overhaul your design. Let me create an alternative. Number one, bring this down. All right, bring this down. Okay. Now, what would have been interesting is if you play around with the background with what you have. Okay, so what that means will mean what that means will be, for example, if I want to use this dark background now, I'll change the color to something bright, maybe this green or white. Okay. Now, instead of creating a rectangle over this text, I can just delete the rectangle and have this text in a bright color. Okay, maybe white. All right. Now, I really like this, by the way. This is really cool. I like it. So well done. Beams World Ashoki. So Beams World Ashoki, I don't know if they are supposed to have the exact same type of text. Beams World Ashoki, I'm assuming that's the logo or that's the name of the business. Okay, so it's nice. You can just leave it up here. But I thought maybe something like Beams World will be on its own line. So like Beams World is going to be the brand name, then Ashoki somewhere on that. Yeah. And then here is a nice place to use your letter spacing. Okay. So Beams World Ashoki. And then if you want to, we're already going into logo design, but that's not focus for today. If you want to make this more interesting, that's not focus for today. Okay. So but let me just adjust this. All right. Position, center. So I've centralized everything. Group. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this in the middle, right? Beams World Ashoki. All right. Now, I want to align this to the left because almost everything is aligned to the left. Okay, and because we have this here. All right. So, except now our background looks very clean. All right, but the rectangle here was out of let me say out of brand in a sense, so because we have circular elements and stuff. So the rectangle and then triangle, it feels like we're advertising geometric shapes. Okay, so what you can do will be introduce a circular element in your design. So look at this, come to elements, all right, because we have a lot of circles here, it would be nice to introduce a circular element, right? And then make this big. Okay, all right. Now, what you want to do to this is bring it lower, okay? Change the color, to something darker, increase the opacity, reduce the opacity. All right, just to create some form of interesting element over this text. Okay, if not, you could have made it brighter. Let's say this color.
I'm sorry, once again,
Okay,
how did you put that circle behind?
behind is simply position. So you can see forward is going to come forward, backwards, forwards, backwards, to front, to the back. And you can see the shortcuts. If you can check your laptop, you find the shortcuts. So for me, it's command bracket out for forward and then backwards, either ways. Did you get that?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's assume that. So I'm just going to change the position, take it to the back.
Sorry,
Yeah?
sorry. I have issues with using my transparency.
On what kind of issues?
This transparency, like I cannot click on it directly. The way you do yours is quite different from the way I use mine.
Oh, you're using a phone?
Yes.
Okay. But it's still possible to apply the transparency. What's the issue with it?
The issue is I cannot use it directly like this. Like the way you do it, I cannot use it directly.
Okay, so how do you use it then? Indirectly or how then do you use it?
I don't know how to explain it, but there's a way I do it. Like I use it like I don't even know how to explain it, but if I want to, like for instance now this cycle that you use for this affordable HOK,
Mhm.
I'll have to click on the transparency first. Then that is when I will now apply it.
Okay. But you're still able to apply it either ways, yeah?
Yes, but not directly the way you do yours.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's just one of the differences between using a laptop and a phone. There are some minor differences. All right. On the contrary, if you don't want to use transparency, you don't have to use transparency. You can actually just change the color. All right. So, for example,
Okay.
me using a black overlay on this color is just to get a darker shade. Remember, I taught you tints and shade. All right. So,
Yeah.
instead of doing that, I can actually just come to my color and get a lighter shade or a darker shade by myself. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll take this up a little because it's still too close to the edge, in my opinion. Right. So group. Right. I'll drag this up. Right. I'll keep this here. I'll bring this to the left here. All right. So I wish I could italicize this, but yeah. So this will work based off of the major elements that you used. Okay. It could have been a brighter color. If it was a brighter color, because I need to have good contrasts, right? Then I'll use a dark. If it would have been a brighter color of the circle, if I want to create good contrast, I'll then have to use a dark text. Okay. So that's majorly many of the things that I can say on this, but I like this concept actually. It's really nice. Well done. Stay on page, so all the changes are made. Merit beddings. I see this inspired by the assignment I gave earlier, which is good. At the end of the day, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. First thing, I can feel the alignment issues already. All right, you align the rectangle, but obviously you can see that this space has affected the overall outlook. So reduce the space, delete the space, okay, and then align centrally, and it's going to work. That's number one. Number two, merit beddings is too close to the edge. So you either want to remove this and then bring merit beddings somewhere that is very, very, very nice and conspicuous. Okay. Okay. Now another thing is merit beddings and this are the exact same type of fonts. All right. Although it's very clear in terms of the contrast is good because this is a different color and a different size. All right. But it would be nicer if you contrasted it also with the type of font. So instead of using a serif font, you probably want to use a sans font, maybe Brixton Sans. or something that is less dramatic. Okay, so let's see Joe Science, no. Open science, no. PT science, public science. All right, so just reduce the size a bit, and there we go. Okay, so this is a really nice design actually. Passes the message across really, really easily. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, I can't remember the assignment. How did we get those for the beddings? How did we get that shape, the background?
The background was an image. So basically it was an image. So come to photos. Come to photos, insert your photo, stretch it out, right? What we did there, we created an overlay of a red color. So imagine a rectangle stretched out, right? And then we change the color to dark red. Okay. The dark red color, and then reduce the opacity of the color, right? And so that's how we got the background. Do you understand now?
Okay. I was talking. Then what about the different photos that was?
Oh yeah, it was frame.
Attached to.
Come to elements, see all frames. Here's where you find the frame. So the exact frame we used is this one. So once you've created the frame, you can rotate it any way you like. And then if you have an uploaded image, use it. If not, just select an image, drop it in, and you're done. And then you just move it around depending on where you want. So if you made one, you can just duplicate it, rotate it to be what you want it to be, select the next image, drop it in, and that's it.
Oh, thank you. I see now.
All right, so for this design, now we're almost out of time, so I'm going to be as quick as possible, right? First things first, this is too close to the edge, so you might as well centralize this, all right? And then this is also too close to the edge. So imagine all the corrections I made, apply them on this design. All the corrections I made in the previous one, right? Just apply them on this design. Now, because this is a longer design, you can want to make this longer, okay? And probably keep social media details close to these details because we already talked about it here. All right, so for affordable, we just on social media platform. So select this, select this, select this, select this. So right now to select it, I'm pressing it, I'm holding shift down, click, 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 click. All right, now I'm going to drag everything together. All right, so that's how I'm moving and selecting multiples. All right, so now I'm going to bring this down just a little and drag this down so that there's enough space. All right, so this is just like major spatial layout type of work. Okay, making sure that you have good spacing between all the text. All right, and then there you go. So here, what would have worked best would have been a frame, right? But what you did is close to what a frame would have done, but it works, or a grid. So just come here, you see this frame, right? Except this is exactly what you used, but I don't think so. Oh yeah, it is actually. Oh yeah, it is. So that's exactly what you use actually, right? And the backgrounds and the images don't have backgrounds, so that's why they look like this. Okay, so imagine you had backgrounds, you will have shown that it wasn't that. So what you can do, so this actually works funny enough, at this point. On a basic level, actually, there are more things you could have done on an advanced level, right? So we can move on from this. Mary Billings, okay, I've done Mary Billings already. Nifi's hair salon, right? Now, what are the things that we're going to do? First of all, remember how I talked about hierarchy, no, not hierarchy. C is contrast, R is repetition, A is alignment. Proximity, yes. Now, that's exactly what's happening here, right? In the sense that you can see everything you're looking for is already arranged in some sort of way, right? All you just need to do is you just need some minor refinement, all right? Our services are here. Contact details.
David.
Yeah.
Sorry, that thing you were saying, the mnemonics you had, what are they?
The what, sorry?
The mnemonics, those things you were saying, the C is hierarchy, H is hierarchy, the thing you mentioned before you got to what you just said. There's
Okay,
a way you remember something.
Oh, crap.
Crap, okay.
CRAP, contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So,
we get those slides. Sorry.
Yes. I'm updating them. That's why I haven't shared them with you. I'm adding some things to them. So I'll use them in some of our classes, and then when we are finally done, I'll share everything with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, so this is really, really good proximity, right? Now, the only thing that is affecting is that it's not allowing it get to the final destination. It's just some minor text styling and arrangement. Okay, now because this is a portrait design, right? You most likely would want to do many of your designs in horizontal batches, right? Now, let me explain what I'm saying. So, when you want to create a layout, for example, right? Let me go back to see if there's the square version of this. Exactly. So, this layout works better for landscape, where you have all your individual informations vertically, right? It will work best on a landscape design, but on a portrait design, these are supposed to be the opposite direction, do you get? Because it's already long, do you get? So what you need to do is, so you might keep this, maybe all the things you cannot keep. So let's look at this now. This is last thing before I'll do before I close, right? Number one, so contact us, right? First thing, I'm going to adjust contact us to be landscape. All right, so let me just drag this. Okay. So click I'm pressing shift. Now, one last thing, it's a minor thing, but it's very important. And because I need you to be pro, guys, right? Reduce the size of your icons to be almost the size of your lines. Okay, so always watch out for that so that your icons are not too big. Okay, and then align them to be sharp, very, very sharp. Okay, so in fact, what I do typically is I would align all my icons together so that they'll be the exact same size when I'm applying them. All right, so this is what I do most times so that no icon is bigger than the other. Good. So this is Instagram, and then I'll make sure that they're aligned as well. Okay. All right, so I'll group, well, no need to group. I'll just select these two, drag them up. And then you see how much more organized it looks. Okay, so now this time what we're going to do is we'll just keep everything on a straight line. Okay, because this is a portrait design. All right, so contact us. All right, now I'm going to keep contact us, obviously, because contact us is supposed to be like the final destination of all your movement on this design. So I'll keep it under. All right, and I'll make sure that everything is aligned really nicely. Okay, as you can see, the lines have shown me that your elements are properly aligned. All right, so I'm just going to do this. Drag this right again, so okay, I'll group and then centralize as always. Okay, After centralizing, contact us, right? Now I'm just going to reduce this so it's not too big, right? And here's a good place to do your letter spacing. So the line spacing, okay? But you don't have to do it, especially if you're not doing it for everything. So if you're doing it for everything, good. If not, stick to whatever you're doing for everything. All right. So our services, working hours, right? So working hours is going to be next. What size is this? 28. So let's just do, because you want everything to be uniform. So 28, and what's the line spacing? The 367. Letter spacing 367. Okay, so we'll change this to 28 and then change the line spacing to 367 so that it will be the exact same. Do you understand? So there will be no discrepancy in your design at all. All right. So working hours, put this in the middle. Right. So Saturday, 10 a.m. to, I'm just going to keep everything in the same box. Okay. Saturday, this is done for Saturday. Okay. Sunday, closed. I'll keep everything in the same text box. Okay. So that I'll be able to adjust them uniformly. All right, because I need them to be in the same. So Monday to Friday. Okay. All right, so here we go. Another thing that I can do is just keep these two on the same line and then use this thing to separate them. Now, what font size is this? 34. What font size is this? 30. Okay, so let's just say 34. 34 is very good, 34. And then now what we're going to do is centralize it. Okay. Listen. So you've done contact us, you've done working hours, centralized to the main page, centralized to the main page as well. Okay. Now our services is the last thing. So now it seems like we're running out of space. So what we need to do is just reduce a little more so that we are using as little space as we can. All right. Working hours. Okay. Then our services, what was this here? 28 and then 367. Okay. So I'm just going to change this to 28 for the font size, and then for the letter spacing 367. All right. So that we have no discrepancies. Okay. So here I can also do the exact same thing by creating it in landscape. All right. Or I'll just separate them into two lines. Okay. Sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'll cut this into X. Okay. So let me drag this down. Okay. So now I just need to move, I need to move this upwards just a little so I have enough space to keep all the information I want. All right. So our services, 1. Then I'll duplicate this to add the second set of information. Okay. Now it's overlapping with this. So this is not a deadlock. What can we do? Okay, so another thing now, sometimes you also just want to look at what you have so you know what you're working with. Okay, so instead of doing all of this, I can just keep this. Okay, and then align it to the right, because we have a lot of space here. All right. Now the challenge is our bullet points will stay on the left. All right. So I'm just going to remove them. Okay. I'm going to remove the bullet points, and this is 34. So I'll change this to 34 as well so that they're uniform. Okay. So we have our services. So what I'll do is I will cut this through out. Okay. Just so that there's some harmony. And then paste this, paste it back, then keep the alignment to the right. Okay, so here we go. One, and then the I'm ensuring that they stay aligned on the floor. So this is left aligned, right? So now you see that I'm actually mixing alignments, right? These two are center aligned, right? And then this is right aligned, all right? And it still doesn't look chaotic because the arrangement is still really, really obvious. Another thing you can also do, because there's a lot of text, is to create some division, right? So how can you create some division? Division just to compartmentalize the information, all right? So you can just add a line.
Wow.
So you can just add a line, right? To just separate them from each other, right? And then, right, so let's see if we can make this line slim. Line width, reduce the line width to 3. Yeah, so it's not too bold and distracting. All right. So what you can even do is, see, keep it under, you can just do it to be in between, like you're canceling it, right? But you're not canceling it. Let's change the color to black. Okay, and then we'll put it under. All right, so we'll do the same thing here. Centralize, position, center. Okay, and then take it to the back. Change the color to black. Okay, just to give it that feel of division. All right. Then last place will be here, because obviously this is also one of it, right? So, oh, interesting. Undo, 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 and then paste back. All right, so I'm taking it to the back now, and we have the exact same thing. Okay, so there we go, right? Another thing that you can also do, because this is a what do they call this thing? This is a script font, serif font, serif, 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 serif. Serifs are very strong, so you want to have a gentleness to your design. So it would be nice if you change all these ones to a really nice sans serif font, right? So maybe like public sans. Okay, that's too much. Reduce the size. Or no, it's not. It's too clean. Josephine, but we use the light one, right? Josephine regular, right? Exactly. So this will work, okay? Just to create some interesting difference between this and this, all right? So we'll do the same thing for this. Turn to Josephine sans regular, Josephine sans regular, Josephine sans regular. Reduce the size because it's too big. Same here. Oh, This is 30, this is 28, this is 34. So they need to be the same size. So we just do 28, 28, and then 28 for uniformity. 800K. Okay. All right, so yeah, we made a lot of changes to this, right? But I like this Nikki's hair salon. You can drag this girl to this side, right? What shape is this? Oh, it's like a rectangle-ish. All right, so okay, so you can just keep this, right? Bring her out a little. Okay, so let me just change the color of this to that, right? Now, and then bring the text in just a little because it's too close to the edge. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, so sometimes you don't need too much. Sometimes you need to make it simpler. Some other times you need to add some physics to it. So striking that balance is what's going to make the difference between those who would have just picked Canva up and the editing templates and then you that have gone to school. Okay, so please let it show that you went to school. So and now if you notice, it feels like the space here is much more than the space here. So we'll just adjust this a little. Okay. And then you can lock some things. So I want to lock this so that when I'm clicking here, it's not going to select. Okay. Because if I didn't lock it, once I do this, it's going to select this big element too. Do you get? So I don't think I showed you guys that. So you can select this, lock it. So if I select everything here now, it will select the thing on the background. Do you get? So there we go. So yeah, we're done, right? So yeah, so that's it for this. Okay, so you can see the difference between what it was before and what it is now. Okay, and another suggestion that I will give will be to make these pictures smaller. Why is so that the composition will not be too much between the main picture and these sub pictures. Okay, so it feels more breathable. This person is supposed to be the main person, right? All these guys are trying to compete with her. Okay, so don't let them compete with her. Just let the lady shine, right? Drag this up a little more, and then we can have more space to space out our text. Okay, so don't forget to keep it aligned every single time. All right. So yeah, we are done. Something is wrong. Center. Good. So there, right? So everything is aligned properly and we are good to go. All right. So whoever this is really great attempt actually. Well done. You're learning. So just apply everything I said here, there, here, right? Except here the arrangement is nice. Bring these things are always don't let your text be on your edge, on the edge. Okay. Another thing for this design also is you can actually move this thing to the left, right? Let this lady shine. Okay. Reduce these ones, reduce these ones, reduce these ones, right? Let this be the top thing. Okay. All right. And then let every other thing be subject to her. Okay. So contact us, for example. Right. So you just move these things around to ensure that they are not too close to the edge. All right. But whoever this is, I'm sure this was a lot of work. So well done. I think there's some elements there. So aha. So just select everything like this. Okay. Right. I'm trying to group. Okay. Reduce. Move 1030 now. I'm so sorry. So carry this like this, right? Let this be the focus of this banner. Okay. All right. Then all these ones are going to be subject to her. Okay, since we've grouped that now, it's easy for us to move things around. So we'll change the same color to the same background we used there. All right. We'll maintain the same design that we did. All right. Then we'll keep our Miffy's hair salon. Okay, really nicely. Right. Now, all those things that we had there, we start bringing them back now. So let me first, I will now ungroup it. All right. Ungroup, delete this first of all. Okay, so we can retain this. So you can see that already it's just more organized already. So now all you just need to do is work on the sizing of these ones and finish it up and you're good to go. Okay, so yes. So yeah, we are good to go. All right. I think we've spent a lot of time already. Is anybody sleeping yet?
Thank you,
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so this was a nice.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you guys. So please, I'll announce on the group. Class will be moved to Thursday. So we'll have classes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, because a lot of people missed out on this class when we started. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll teach what I was supposed to teach today on Monday, on Wednesday, then what I was supposed to teach on Wednesday, on Thursday, what I was supposed to teach on Friday and Friday. Okay. So I'm going to give you another assignment for today, obviously, because you cannot be relaxing. So I'll send you the assignments and then on Wednesday. All right. So any questions so far? Any questions so far? No questions. All right. So thank you all so much. Have a good night. See you on Wednesday.
Thank you, David.
See you on Wednesday.
Good night.
You're
Thank you, Pastor
Thank you so
David.
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
It's Serif, sir. Your boy is loyal.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. Good night.